You know, I woke up this morning with the overwhelming sense that there was something that I should be doing, something that people enjoyed that I just stopped doing for absolutely no reason whatsoever, but I can't put my finger on it. I'm not exactly sure what that thing is, and it's bothering me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the broski is flustered.
You have to recap Monday Night Raw.
Is that you, God?
You blithering idiot. Yes, it's me. Now recap Raw or I'll put you on the list.
There's one thing TV and movies have taught me, is that if you hear a disembodied voice somewhere in your apartment, you should probably listen to it and do exactly as it says. But I can't do it wearing this.
I'm bad, and I'm better than ever. Got a knack for making things better. Face.
Much better. My name is Eric, and welcome to the triumphant return of Raw Reactions, first thing in the morning.
Where did you think you could go? 'Cause everyone already knows it's 20 to 1. Yeah, so you better run. You got the world on its knees.
Alright, let's see if I remember how to do this. The show kicked off this week with Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley, who are in the middle of the ring, and right off the bat, isn't it nice and comforting to know that some things never change? Joining them is the entire Raw roster. Stephanie proceeds to give them, a pep talk. And I say pep talk because she ended up threatening them in the end. Because, you know, if you're McMahon, there's no better way to motivate your employees than by threatening their job security. Now, once Stephanie is done playing cheerleader for her brand, she announces that none other than Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan will be live on Raw later on in the evening. Now, Mick Foley went on to say a bunch of shit, but as we all know, I despise him and his conspiracy against Kevin Owens, so I just tune him out now because my heart can't handle that much hate. Foley then went on to do the running man like Enzo Amore, which was fucking amazing, not because it was good, just because he kind of looked like an arthritic chicken. That's always fun. The running man wasn't as great as Kevin Owens' version, but it was damn close and probably one of the highlights of Monday Night Raw. Let that sink in. Now, this entire segment was basically used to build the hype to Survivor Series and to set up 3 matches for Monday Night Raw. The first one being Cesaro and Sheamus versus Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Stephanie then makes a match between all 3 members of the New Day versus Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and Chris Jericho. And finally, Foley makes a match between Alicia Fox and Nia Jax versus Charlotte and Sasha Banks. All in all, a decent opening segment. Our first matchup this evening featured Sheamus and Cesaro versus Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Now, Reigns started off the match very strong because of course he did! What were you expecting? Hashtag make Roman look strong. After mounting a decent amount of offense, Reigns went for the tag to Owens, but Kevin Owens wrestles on his time, not on Roman Reigns' time, and he was having none of it! Now, despite the fact that Reigns and Owens couldn't get on the same page and were arguing throughout the entire match, I felt that this was pretty fun to watch. It was a nice, interesting dynamic to see Reigns and Owens being on the same side, and I, for one, actually liked the team of Sheamus and Cesaro. So, for the opening contest to a Monday Night Raw, I thought this was pretty good. In the end, it was Kevin Owens picking up the win with absolutely no help whatsoever. Shut up! We go backstage now with Chris Jericho, who's on a mission to get rid of all the bad vibes between himself, Rollins, and Strowman after all of the nonsense that went on last week during Monday Night Raw, and in order to do so, he offers them both a gift. He offers each one of them their very own scarves of Jericho. Try it on, man. Now, both Rollins and Strowman prove they have absolutely no fashion sense and refuse the gift of Jericho. And we all know what that means. They just made the list! Oh yeah, fun fact. Even though I'm Canadian, I don't own a scarf. This is a pair of pants. Our next matchup featured Bo Dallas versus Sami Zayn. Now, there isn't too much to say about this match. It was a pretty quick one. I do like the more aggressive in-ring style of Bo Dallas. I, for one, have always kind of liked Bo Dallas, and I'm hoping they actually do something with him, and this actually goes somewhere, and it's not just another waste of time. probably a waste of time. In the end, like I said, very quick match, which Bo Dallas pretty much dominated until Sami Zayn hit an exploder suplex into the corner, followed it up with a haluva kick for the 1-2-3 and the win. We go backstage now with Brian Kendrick and the rest of the Cruiserweight division. Now Kendrick is kind of giving them a pep talk, trying to assure them that he will beat Kalisto at Survivor Series and that the Cruiserweight division will stay on Monday Night Raw. Now, a couple of the Cruiserweights voiced their objection. A couple guys asked for some title shots. And then, the most shocking thing of the night, Sin Cara spoke. I didn't even know he could do that. Needless to say, the rest of this segment is an absolute blur as I recovered from the shock of Sin Cara speaking here on the couch. I'm still not fully over it, to be honest. Up next, we got a little 6-man tag team match action featuring The New Day versus Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, and Chris Jericho. Now, typically, I don't really like 6-man tag team matches, but I thought this one was good enough. You had a really nice sequence between Seth Rollins and Xavier Woods, which was really fun to watch. Wouldn't mind seeing a feud between the two, actually. I feel like Xavier Woods is incredibly underrated and is a lot better in the ring than most people give him credit for. Now, Chris Jericho was a highlight, as usual, talking shit to not only the New Day and the crowd, but his own team. And I mean, that's just really fun to watch. Braun Strowman is an absolute freak of nature, and even though it looks like it's difficult for him just to walk to the ring, he can toss motherfuckers around like nobody's business, and that's just good TV. In the end, it was Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho, and Braun Strowman picking up the win over the New Day. Now, I have no idea how they accomplished this because my illegal stream died. I'm a professional. Backstage again, this time with Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon, and Paul Heyman. Now, Heyman goes on to hype the match between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. And then, for no reason at all, Stephanie McMahon decides to fat shame him.
Don't be a bully!
Up next, we got Brian Kendrick versus Sin Cara. Remember when we were all excited for the Cruiserweight division? We're all stupid idiots. Basically, Kendrick attacked Sin Cara before the match started. Then the match started. He beat him up a little bit more. Sin Cara attempted a comeback. Kendrick stopped the comeback. And then the match was over. Thrilling. Up next, we had the face-off between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. Now, to be honest, pretty much everybody who tuned into Monday Night Raw probably tuned in to see this. It was pretty cool. Steph and Foley decided to separate the ring in two with some security guards, which I felt gave the segment an anything can happen type of vibe, which is what Monday Night Raw used to be all about. I mean, not so much anymore, but it used to be about that. Now, Heyman tried to introduce himself, but Goldberg immediately cut him off, saying that this situation had absolutely nothing to do with him, that this was between himself and Brock Lesnar, and then told the security guards that they should all leave the ring, as well as Paul Heyman, so that the only two real men in the ring could get it on. Whoa, this got fabulous real quick. Heyman then puts over the security guards, saying that the only reason why they are in the ring in the first place is to protect Goldberg from Brock Lesnar, and that Goldberg should be thankful for their presence in the ring. Heyman also goes on to list all the names of the opponents that Brock Lesnar has conquered over the past few years, to which Goldberg responds that there is one name that is not on his list, and that is the name of Goldberg. Now, Heyman makes the mistake of mentioning Goldberg's family, and Goldberg doesn't respond to this very well. He responds by saying that he is going to rip off Heyman's head and feed it to Brock Lesnar, because double homicide is definitely PG. Heyman continues to hype Brock Lesnar, but then makes another reference to Goldberg's family. What is he thinking? Goldberg responds to this like any other rational human being would. He took off his shirt. Wrestling is dumb. And finally, in what can only be considered as a suicide attempt, Heyman finishes his promo and then says that Brock is going to beat Goldberg up so badly that his son is going to call Lesnar Daddy. What? Now Goldberg absolutely loses his shit here, and since he already took off his shirt, there was only one thing left to do, and that was to tear ass. So he starts beating the shit out of the security guards. Now Lesnar sees this and perceives it as a threat, and as we all know, there's only one thing to do when you feel threatened. He took off his shirt. I would run. Oh, and then after taking off his shirt, Brock just kind of went backstage. Okay. Now this segment taught me that if someone threatens you or a member of your family, the only appropriate response is to take off your shirt. Here, I have some visual aids. Hey retard, don't you know wrestling's fake? I should kick your ass, you fucking nerd. I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that, good sir. Pretty sure. And why is that exactly? Because you won't like me when I'm angry. Up next, we got Nia Jax and Alicia Fox versus Charlotte and Sasha Banks. This match was kind of a mess. Charlotte and Sasha couldn't get on the same page. They eventually came to blows, attacking each other during the match. And it just proves that WWE really believes that deep down inside, all women hate each other and they just can't get along. I mean, the women's match was the only match in which Survivor Series teammates came to blows. We go backstage now one more time with Mick Foley and Team Raw. Now, Foley said a bunch of shit, but since we've already established that I don't listen to stupid idiots, we're gonna move on to something much more important, and that was Jericho sharing a scarf. Not only was it hilarious and a touching display of friendship, but it's also hashtag relationship goals. Up next, we got Enzo and Cass with the Club versus the Shining Stars and the Golden Truth. And people say tag team wrestling is dead. Now, to be honest, I didn't entirely hate this match. The one really good thing, is that they pretty much put everybody I hate together in one match, so we got it all out of the way, all at once. I don't even remember who wins. And more importantly, I really don't care. And finally, our main event, I guess, tonight, we have Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan appearing live on Raw. Now, this never-ending segment was basically there just to promote SmackDown 900, as well as Survivor Series. Stephanie had a great line during this promo where she said that people only like Shane because he panders to them and he jumps off high structures. And I gotta say, Steph, you're right on the money. I pander to stupid people all the time, and they love my YouTube channel. And back in the day, when I actually had knees and ankles and they weren't shattered from skateboarding, I used to jump off of roofs just for shits and giggles. I was a really stupid teenager. That's a true story, by the way. I totally jumped off of roofs for absolutely no reason. I don't know, Jackass was popular. What do you want from me? I mean, the rest of this promo was basically, my show's better. Oh, no, my show's better. And it wasn't bad. It was just too long. This segment was too long. This entire show is too long. Now, after all the talking was done, Stephanie and Mick Foley leave the ring as Team Raw makes their way down the ramp. Now, they immediately surround Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon and start intimidating them. And that's when Daniel Bryan announces that they weren't dumb enough to come without backup, and Team SmackDown starts appearing from the crowd. They get into the ring, and for the rest of this segment, and since lists seem to be all the rage, what culture? I figured I'd do the rest of this segment in a nice, tidy, convenient list. So, here we go! Kevin Owens and AJ Styles start trading insults. They talk shit about each other's belts, which is way out of line, and you know that shit is getting serious when one man insults another man's belt. Playing with fire. Jericho hug in the middle of the ring, and while they were doing so, Kevin Owens was screaming, look at it, look at it, at AJ Styles, and that was fucking hilarious. Jericho put AJ Styles' haircut, and James Ellsworth on the list. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, well, they broke up. Dean Ambrose sparked a fight by attacking Chris Jericho. Seth Rollins saved Roman Reigns from a Styles clash. Reigns and Rollins did a Shield powerbomb on AJ Styles, tossing him over the top rope into his team, which was a cool little spot. And in the end, the Raw team came out on top over SmackDown, thanks entirely to Kevin Owens. No help at all. He did everything himself. Team captain, Kevin Owens, the greatest of all time. No one better. The man who will lead Team Raw to victory over SmackDown this Sunday at Survivor Series. So there you have it, guys, my Raw reactions for the week. All in all, I thought Raw was a pretty good show. The first 2 hours did a really good job at building some momentum heading into Survivor Series, but that third hour, like every single week, it completely killed all that momentum. 3 hours for a wrestling show is still way too long. That being said, the interaction between Team Raw and Team SmackDown at the end was a fun way to end the show and to build up to Survivor Series. Who doesn't love an all-out brawl? Thank you so much to you guys for being very patient with me for the past 3 weeks while I haven't put out any Raw reaction videos. I just kind of needed to take a break. I was a little bit burnt out on wrestling in general, and it's just really cool to know that you guys support me no matter what. So thank you very much. Yesterday was actually the 1-year anniversary of First Thing in the Morning as a channel itself, and Raw Reactions has become a huge part of my YouTube channel. So thank you very much to everybody who checks these out. I have a lot of fun making these, even if the product that we're watching on TV sometimes kind of sucks. Making these videos is a great outlet for me. It lets me get out all my fucking mark rage, and it just feels good, and they're really fun to do. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to join the Broski Club, hit that subscribe button. Just hit 800 subs, by the way. Go follow me on Twitter at MTLBroski for all the latest First Thing in the Morning news. Check out my Pro Wrestling Tees store for some high quality awesome t-shirts over at prowrestlingtees.com/FTITM. Go check out, I miss doing this, my broskies over at kayfabetoday.com to check out all kinds of great wrestling related content and our podcast. And a little spoiler, rumor around the water cooler, this week's episode is going to be a 4-man booth. That's right, we got a special guest, and you won't want to miss it. Once more, you can check that out over at kayfabetoday.com. And until next Tuesday morning, guys, these have been my Raw reactions, First Thing in the Morning. How about me taking off my shirt, huh? That's good stuff.